Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here as always, I'm Cloud Hudson, your meteorologist for the evening, comedian meteorologist. It's like a meteorologist who's allowed to try to be funny sometimes. Hey. Hi. Welcome. I'm so glad that we're all here today. Do you like my new lighting setup? I've got my salt lamp turned back on. I'm crushing my salt lamp. I crush my salt lamp. And then I've also got my lava lamp restored, but I'm not sure if the 25 watt bulb that I got is going to be sufficient. It says it needs a 40, but I was scared to grab a 40 at the store. 40 at the store. Can't get that kind of 40 at an Ace Hardware, folks. I've tried. You can bring in your own. Well, you used to could when they still had popcorn. You could popcorn bag it. Okay, I'm getting off track here. I'm not publicly drinking in the Ace Hardware, but if I was, it would be out of a popcorn bag. Alrighty, that should give y'all enough faith in me to talk about our vibes today. How are your vibes? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to share from your location what the weather's like. I'm going to turn the heater off. Well, yeah, I'm going to turn the heater off. Just a moment. Ooh. Okay. Back to business. Let me go ahead and share my screen with y'all today. We had a really cool coronal mass ejection happen today. We had 13 coronal mass ejections in total on January 29th. And let's go ahead and take a look at the list. I've already pulled up the largest one for you. And this is a doozy. This is a gorgeous one. Oh, y'all, this is the one that I feel like we were expecting when it was facing the Earth. But I think that wouldn't be Earth direct unless it was facing like a really long lineup of planets. I feel like this has launched from the coronal hole that is now rotating to face. You know what? Let me go ahead and pull up our planetary geometry right now. Before I show you this beautiful mass ejection. Remember that our most recent vertical line in the sun of a bunch of really active sunspots has just rotated out of Earth view and is just slightly facing that big pileup of planets that we have in the 30 degrees between Venus and the sun. We got Venus, Mars, Mercury, Pluto, and all to the, I guess, west of us, to the solar west of us. And that's the direction that this mass ejection launched. So let's take a look at it. Already you see all these radiation particle dots. That means that this is a doozy of a launch. That's a lot of radiation, not just plasma spilling out there, but actual radiation particles. Let's take a look. Oh, you don't want to play for me? Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Okay, let's see. Starts out, we see it simmering, and then click along. Getting there, you start to see some radiation coming out ahead of it. And then this is our big launch. That's why I think it came out of, let me see, did it come out of 3556 or 3559 or 3561? I'm not sure. I'll have to check. But then it just explodes into this beautiful display of like a, I don't know, it looks like a columbine flower, columbinus, or like a like a daffodil. Oh yeah, it looks like a spring daffodil. That's what it looks like. Some sort of bulb type flower. And then as it explodes that way, it curls around the entire backside of the sun from where it launches. Yeah, look at that. And then all this radiation, those little black and white dots are the specks of like alpha particles, gamma particles. Like I don't remember which ones are which, but it's one of those. The streaks are one kind and the dots are another, but I believe that they could also be the streaks that are going into the page. But look at it just ricochet all the way around, and it looks like there's slight bit of like tail end eruption on either side, like flanking right here. And then we get into beautiful, beautiful secondary burst right here. Looks like a four-leaf clover almost. You see the four-leaf clover? It's like all four quadrants popped off at the same time, but in different ways. Just a gorgeous eruption right here. I think it's really, yeah. And then as it dissipates out, just wiggles out into the interplanetary magnetic field. We will be feeling that one soon. I believe that there's no way we've escaped the girth of this ejection. I don't think Earth will be undisturbed, even if it was not Earth directed, because look at how much it's compensating on the backside. That looks like a full halo to me, and it's a category 4 chance of complete halo. Let's look at that again. Look at it just like rip through there. Gorgeous stuff. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. You love to see it. You love to see it. I mean, you love to see it when it's not heading directly for us. So that was this one today on at 4:36, just slightly after midnight last night. And then that kicked off a wave of, there was some minor activity last night between, like when I broadcast and this ejection happening. But God, do you see how many subsequent mass ejections we had right after that? Let's see what happened. The one right after that, also ginormous. The one right after that, also ginormous. I don't think those are different pictures. Let's take a look. Oh my gosh, this is the entire, every single one is just a huge, huge tidal wave of radiation. Now, if I were well-trained in space weather, I'd be able to tell you more stuff about that. But folks, unfortunately, I'm still waiting for anybody to be my benefactor for my space weather certificate. I can get one online if y'all want to sponsor me. Be awesome to take that SWIN space weather class. I would love to learn official. Yeah, and you see still on that axis, still ricocheting through. Let's take a look at this one again. The goat. The absolute goat. Okay, they have this one logged twice. I guess that's why this has the same. Let's take a look at the scatter plot. This shows, okay, so this shows how it's an entire sun, because this is angle from north. This is like a like a radius degree measure around. This is basically like which part of the sun on the around the sun part this is, and it's all over the place, and a good distribution of velocities makes it look like this is a complete. Let's look at the scatter plot for this one. Is this okay? Yeah, they have this as just this ladder. I bet it was the secondary burst that they're counting on this one. Okay, gorgeous. Let's see what impact this has had on our actual solar activity. Or on our geomagnetic weather, I should say. Yeah, it looked like it was from 3559 for me, but I don't remember. Let's click on it. Let's see if 3559 was the one that launched this. I believe it has. I think it was. I just have this feeling it was. Welcome to all 2 of my viewers. If any of you are on Facebook, hi, welcome. I can't see Facebook comments as I'm streaming from Streamlabs Talk Studio, but I am streaming on Facebook so that I can get everyone's awareness up. I'm trying to raise awareness that I have a show. I'm raising awareness of my own YouTube channel. There's so many things you could raise awareness of. Let's take a look. Well, I guess it doesn't want to show me that. Let me see that. Let's go back to here. Let's go back here. Let's go to solar flares. See if they list it there. This is solar flare data. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that is right at the time that big solar blast, that is 4 minutes after the blast happened. This is like right at that giant coronal mass ejection. That almost got up to X class, folks. That is like, we're in the R2 level radio blackout X-ray flux range. Remember, M class flares are like a R1, and here we've got, R2. That means it's enhanced risk for day side or night side radio blackouts. I don't remember, but type 2 radio emission beginning Monday. Yeah, okay, so this is basically, this stuff absorbs radio frequency. I don't know why I'm doing quotes. When we get this much X-ray flux, it messes up, it fluxes up the radio signal. Especially, we're getting it most strongly here in the South Pole and in the the Arctic and Antarctic Circle regions. But this is how many decibels will be degraded by this radio storm, radio blackout. And remember that this is, I think it's dayside radio blackout. So it's not, and then max attenuation. We're looking at like the maximum possible radio blackout. And so a lot of people have a lot of questions about what goes on in Antarctica, mostly because a lot of female researchers down there have some not great stories about what happens in the bases. And then that doesn't even get into all the like actual crazy people who think that there's weird stuff happening down there. So, if you're a fan of Antarctica not being able to talk to anyone, this is great news for you. If you're not a fan of the Antarctic, this is great news. Also, if you don't like anyone up here in very far northern Siberia to be able to talk to anybody, well, you're in luck. Unfortunately, this is getting very close to Iceland. It looks like this dip down of 15 to 20 decibels of signal degradation did cover all of Greenland and Iceland today, and much of extreme northern Canada, and about to wiggle into Alaska. So this is the night side radio blackout at the North Pole, and this is the day side. Now let's take a look at the, I wanted to go back up here. Here's where I can see it. Yes, it was 3559 that had that M6.7 solar flare today. So, yeah, that is, I feel like that might be as close to X as we've gotten since the beginning of the year. Maybe. God, that's beautiful. And then we've seen, not for nothing, it's really ticked back down. And then, oh my gosh, just now we went back into B territory. Remember last night when I said that when we went into B range, I felt that we were going to go back up into M class soon. Like this was the pulling back of the slingshot, and then I mean, why did I do a slingshot like a bow and arrow? I mean, the pulling back of the slingshot, and it went, and this is our result. And then I think that we are now ricocheting all the way back down to upper B territory. That means that we're probably going to get back up into, I really, really do expect a big, a large increase in X-ray flux in the next 12 hours. Sometime in the next 12 hours, I think we might get another large flare. But that's my personal feeling. This only has C class 99%, M class 40% likelihood. And now this was also like 3559 getting all of its juices out as it rotates into the view of Venus, Mars, and Mercury. In fact, let's go ahead and see if the WSA or Enlil has modeled this yet. Could be. Maybe. Also, we are looking at possible aurora today from Reykjavik to Nunavut, Alaska. Let's see if they've got this. No, they've got, that was one from yesterday. They have not modeled the second one today. But this is the area where I was saying Mars, Mercury, etc. are at. See if this will show me anything. Usually not. I don't know why this hasn't been wanting to play. I've had to click through. All right. That's interesting that we've got a decrease in radial velocity at the same time that there's really low density. I mean, you can almost see an increase, but very little. That is some fast solar wind right there. But that's in the vertical plane. This is in the horizontal plane. This is the vertical plane. Those slices. Yeah. And then our plasma density starts to increase again. This is not yet modeled the new CME, but this is, I got to take a look at that forum soon. Let's take a look at our, that's a beautiful, beautiful intensitygram and magnetogram. I mean, we're not, we're in like the quiet quadrant of the sun, but we're not quiet by any means. Look at these sunspot groups, regions rotating into Earth view right now. Let's go ahead and take a look if we can see this on the 193 angstrom view. Let's see if we can see this giant. Oh, I see something spinning. That was it. That's it. And then these are just ballooning up out there. Yeah, that is not, that is, that's beautiful, but wow, scary too. Let's take a look at the composite one, or the composite one that we'll probably see this on. Look at all that activity. And you can see it go through different colors as it explodes. You can see that different wavelengths are leading and trailing. I believe the red are the, what do we have? Oh, yeah, the red are the shorter wavelengths on this one. And then let's take a look at this one. See how pretty. Look how pretty the sun do. Oh yeah. Blooming outward. Not done yet. I don't think this is done yet because look at those streamers still attached. Those have got to puff off soon somewhere. And then right behind it, a little bit area of a hole right here and here and here. This is closer to it in latitude though. Very interesting. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, let's look at those magnetic flux lines. Look at those magnetic ropes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, let's see what we're looking at for auroral activity today. Auroral activity. KP index of 3 and hemispheric power is, mildly increased. We got a decently fast solar wind because we've got those coronal holes facing us right now. Earth's magnetic field is, that's not too bad, but we are looking at a significant southward component with all this radiation, which means that we're looking favorable for some corona, in my opinion, or corona, for some aurora. But we are in a larger phase of the moon cycle, so really cool to see these come in through different different. Let's see. It's not going to give me what I want. Yeah. At the different stations, they're coming in at slightly different nanotesla levels. So at the different stations, they ripple through, and you can see through space how this kind of I'd say that this one, which station is this? I'll have to look this up by next time. But that station is where we got the most direct blow. I bet that was sun facing at the middle of the night at 4:40 UTC. Let me do the calculations. That doesn't help me. I'm looking. I want to look for a location by the time it is. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Who is 4 hours ahead of UTC? Because that's where they got. All right. Dubai Arab Emirates. Who was here at 4 a.m.? Whose noon was it when it was 4 a.m. in UTC time? It was noonish in China, Singapore. Okay. Russia. This is getting over. God, let's go ahead and take a look at the wind streams for that location, and I'll be able to see this better. Thanks for sticking around on board with me, guys. I have many more I got so many jokes to make about this, but it's not even funny. Ooh, okay. Oh wow, look at how sharp that is. That's gorgeous. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be calling it gorgeous. That's a pretty destructive gradient. But okay. This is about the longitude that was facing the sun when we got that CME. And this is the area that was rotating into view throughout that area, that time of heightened solar activity. So, yeah, that is a lot of the Eurasian plate. I am so interested to see what this did to our earthquakes today. Looks like we've got a lot of really cold temperatures, not only throughout Russia and China, but also into the Black Sea region, into the Mediterranean. And thankfully, I don't know if y'all know, but there are a lot of people, unfortunately, living in very shitty conditions in some of the UN refugee camps in Palestine. So it's very important that the weather stays tolerable here. I don't want to see any of this cold air mass over Greece and Turkey creep its way back into the Holy Land, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. I mean, still 50 and 60 degrees is not super warm, but at least it's better for not breeding airborne diseases. If they could get some good, let's see if there's cloud cover. That would, let's see, where's my clouds? Where's my clouds? There, total cloud water. Yeah, it is a little cloudy and rainy looking like almost like sea effect rain here. This is like a mini cyclone in this Mediterranean Sea right here. That is really cool. I mean, not cool. It really sucks. You don't want to be living in an overcrowded place like this when it's wet and rainy and gross. Hopefully they will get some relief soon. I mean, that is windy. Well, at least the air's not stagnant and cold and wet. I guess having moving air is a little bit better than nothing. So yeah, keep everybody over there in your prayers. Donate to all the campaigns that you can. There are a lot of places trying to get food and money and protection there that are not nonprofits. Let's take a look here in Iceland. They're still freezing cold. And looks like the protesters in Western Europe, those truckers, those farm protesters, are having slightly better weather. Freezing cold in Ireland and Scotland today. But the way that the wind is whipping up, it looks like they won't be too cold. Well, they might be cold for a little longer. It looks like this might be a cold front sweeping in for them. I see that telltale. Oh, that's not too bad. I was gonna say it looks a little bit like a frontal boundary, but it doesn't really. This looks sick. This looks sick over here. Let's see how wet it is. Yeah. Wow. Look at that mixing of that cold, dry air and that warm, moist air. This could whip itself up into a frenzy. It could whip itself up into two frenzies. Honestly, look at this. We got the 1 and the 2. What if we just had back-to-back blizzards in Iceland? That would be wild. I bet that Iceland received a lot of that X-ray burst today too. Now I like to see the surface total precipitable water to show like a good like a feel of what the air masses are. Unfortunately, you can only color code for one variable at a time sometimes on these, but if I had my druthers, what are druthers? Why does no one ever have them? If I had my druthers, I would be able to code 3 different variables on one map using RG and B scale values from black to white. But that's just me. I'm sure I would have to code something for that, and I'm not about to do that. I only learned Fortran, and you can't code GIS in Fortran. And if you can, I'd like to see you try. I would like to see it. What am I on about? Can you tell I listen to British YouTubers? What am I on about? Okay. Wow. This is really, my God. We're looking at quite a different scenario than we were yesterday. We've still got a large center of rotation here around Alaska. I expected that to move a little bit further south, but it looks like we've still got really good definition of this low off the coast. Look at that divergence there below. That is sucking in the moisture. Let's look at, as we go up in the atmosphere, what this looks like. Let me rotate and zoom out a little. So we're looking more at the Pacific. Okay, y'all. Take a look at these gorgeous swirly girlies all the way up into the atmosphere, still maintaining that lower level divergence right above it between here and here. Wow, those are still going well. Oh, nope, don't do relative humidity. I want to do going up to 700 hectopascal level, starting to get a little less tight, less defined, but still working its way into this trough in the jet stream well, and still kind of holding that tight rotation above Alaska. As we get up into the 500 level, the more jet stream level, that's when this begins to fall apart, this particular low. But the pre-Alaskan low is the Aleutian low, I bet I would call it, is looking really, really strong. As we get up to 250 millibar level or hectopascal level, this has almost completely disappeared. This is the energy that I was looking for to come on shore the other day, but it looks like we're getting, I mean, really, that would be sinking air aloft. So interesting stuff happening over the west coast of North America right now. I'm expecting this little guy, this one that we saw down at the 850 level. Yeah, you can't even see that big high rotation up here on our lower level. It just looks like an absence of wind. Really remember that, like, it's like squeezing a stress, like a gooey ball that has a sheer layer of swirly, twirly fluid that you can see through on the surface. Your fingers pressing down is where the highs are. And so you don't see as much swirly twirliness where your fingers pressing down, where there's high pressure, finger pressing down. That doesn't really look like a whole lot of wind once you get to the surface. So this big vacuum is somebody putting their, not somebody, but like the atmospheric hand squeezing the ball, pressing down on that area. And then right next to it, all that air's got to go somewhere, and it is going into this low. And that's the swirls that you would see in the parts of the sphere that are bulging out and filling with liquid. I'm picturing this like 90s kid toy where it had like really glittery fluid in it. U-coded pre-GIS systems with Fortran and Intergraph in 1988. My mom, everybody. Hats off to my mom. I love her so much, and you should too. She's the not only the mother of me, but the mother of GIS. Nobody knows it. She's the unsung hero of ArcGIS, programming GIS on Fortran back in 1988. Outstanding work. Love your work. I'm such a big fan. This visual would not be possible without the work that my mom did back in the 80s. So way to go. And it wasn't her alone. It was her and another lady. So, and like probably some man who said that it was his work, but you know, they did a really good job. Give credit where credit is due. I'm going to plant her flowers. I won't buy her flowers. I will go plant flowers for her. And she's upstairs, my only fan. And that's not why I'm applauding her. I'm just saying everybody should know how awesome and badass my mom is. Okay, let's get back to the weather. Now, I want to take a look at what kind of, I mean, look at this ridge. Look at this. I didn't see this before, or this didn't stick out to me before, but look at that, like, slicey boy. That slicey boy of a front right there. That is about to fold up into some nice, do you almost see what a right angle implies? If you see a right angle in the clouds, you are about to see, is my hand match what I drew? Yeah. If you saw a right angle in the clouds, you are about to see some waves crashing action. That's the cyclonic vorticity. That's the angular momentum that pops out. When you've got the right angles, that's when you can, right angles are not unnatural. They happen all the time in wave dynamics. It's just a part of the process that doesn't stay stable. That's the thing. right angles that stay right angles are the unnatural thing, or not unnatural. I'm reading a book about, like, you know, what is nature and what is unnatural and natural, and are humans natural, but like right angles are not unnatural. They just don't remain right angles for very long. They're honestly like a sign of instability. They're a sign that this wave is about to break. So that is some gorgeous setup, if I ever saw one, for an incredibly powerful low. And you see how, while I'm drawing this, I also drew where the center of circulation would be in relation to the frontal boundary. If you just draw a crashing wave at every right angle, you will find the center of circulation and your frontal boundaries. And then you'll also see a little surfer guy. You'll see a little surfer guy come in right here. And that will be your, like, it depends on where in the frontogenesis, that's a fun word. It just means the birth of a front phase this is. But you'll see the dry slot coming in. If it's right down here, you'll see that cold backside air keeping the low really chilled out and frosty. But then also in this area, you'll see an inflow bound, like an inflow. This is where it's sucking in, and this is where it's swirling it around. Think of this as like thinner, runnier, less viscous air, and this is the more viscous air that gets churned around with it. This comes into the front, spins around, and this comes in and keeps this spinning. Okay, I think I've made that as clear as mud. So let's move on. That's a really pretty, I like that image that I drew. This is, I mean, it's not even the image I drew that I like. It's the image in the clouds that I like. Look how gorgeous that is. Let's take a look at that as we move up in the atmosphere. You can see that definition still present at the 750 hectopascal level. We go up to the 500 and you can see how it's embedded itself high and low into the jet stream trough and ridge formation. Then as we get up into the 250 level, you really see that high pop out, because like you need to be high up. You need to be having something high up going on in order for there to be the squishing down that I was describing of the fingers on the balls. Okay. Wait, let me show on. I'm going to try showing on stream. I can show a comment on stream. Look at that. Carolyn Hudson, everybody. Very cool. Very cool. I've never shared a comment on stream before. That's cool. All right. I'm going to dip out of that. None of this would be possible without her work. So thank you, Mom. I mean, not just none of this mappy stuff either. Big fan. Let's go now to see what effect this. Oh, I told you I was going to look at hazards. Let's take a look at the current hazards. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at the SPC hand-drawn analysis and see if we've got anything. Oh yeah, they're not even showing it on our map yet. We've got, no, I'm not going to look at this yet. Let's take a look at our temperatures. Really disjointed temperatures here. We got 40s all along, 40s and 30s making their way down south, but still keeping most of this soggy, boggy area in the 50s. That's just a recipe for cold and flu season if I ever saw one. Everybody take your immunity whatever supplements, say your immunity prayers or whatever you do. Ask Jesus for some elderberries. You know, I don't know. I'm trying to be inclusive of everyone. Here we go. Let's take a look at the National Weather Service's hazard map issued for today. Oh, wow. California getting pummeled by some rain. Bay Area and larger area also really getting just flash flood watch, dense fog advisory, high wind advisory, and no winter. I don't see any winter storm warnings and watches, but I don't know where those are. Still looking at potential flooding all the way through the Mississippi Valley region, just still soaked over there. I mean, and there was I did see some snowflakes here in Western North Carolina on the north sides of all these slopes. Remember how I said that there was a northwest flow snow event? Snow blows into the mountains like that. Yeah, you can see only that side of the mountain is like glazed in this beautiful frosting of snow. So I bet that everyone over here is also getting a lot of moisture. Let's go ahead and sorry, California, that sucks. Oh, that's the winter storm watch. Duh, the blue is winter storm watch. So we're looking at higher elevations, Nevada and California in a winter storm watch. High wind advisories in Oregon along the state line. Got dense fog advisories. No way. There's dense fog in the Pacific Northwest. Oh my God. But these drenching rains in California, I have no idea. I want to know what it's like out there. Let's take a look at let's see how much rain we did actually get today. Observe precipitation. I want to see radar and precip. I never picked that one. Let's see if they have some good. All right. In the past day, this is where we've got, I mean, it really doesn't look like any too much additional rainfall, but when we back out 3 days, yeah, back out 3 days, we're looking not great. I think that, yeah, look at, God, it's just like a scar. Looks like an infected scar across the country, but that's just the pestilence of rain for you. Let's take a look at our temperatures for today. What temperatures did we observe? Remember, these are not forecasts. I'm just telling you what actually happened today. What are the analysis? No, I don't want to look at forecasts. I clicked on that. I said that, and then I clicked on forecast by accident. I meant to click on analysis. Okay. Goofy now. Okay. This is what we had sweep through today. Look at all of that warm, moist air going into California. It's not looking good in a way of they're about to get drenched again. And by they, I mean the entire country. Beautiful warm up today, a bit, but really through the Ohio River Valley, we cooled off. Through the backside of the Appalachian Mountains and all along the Appalachian Mountains, you can see those upper elevations clinging to the cold air. Remember how at the beginning of this year, I was saying that the Appalachians weren't warming up because they're big old rocks and it takes a long time for the rock to change temperature? Now they have gotten cemented firmly in this is wintertime mode, and they're not giving up the rocky, these are the Rockies, but the rocks that make up the Appalachian mountain chain are not giving up that heat. They are retaining that thermal mass, or they're not giving up their heat. They're not taking on the heat as fast as the flatlands are. I don't mean flatlands derogatory. I mean flatlands as in there's just not as much Earth to put thermal mass in contact with the atmosphere. Like you just have higher surface area in the mountains, and that means that the Earth can soak in more of the vibes, the temperature. It can soak in more of the temperature. More complexity means more exchange of vibes. More surface area means better heat exchange with the geosphere and the atmosphere. Basically, what I'm saying is the mountains were staying warm, and now they are staying cold. And that's a good thing for snow lovers. If we are snow lovers anywhere around here, we want to hang on to some of this cold in order to have a good environment for potential snow machine to come in and dump snow on. And that is what meteorologists are looking at right now. We're looking at what is our potential, what's our snow outlook looking like. Man, I've already been talking about the weather so much, but I kind of want to put on the radar. I'm going to put on the radar. I'm going to go to GOES. And I always look at derived winds, guys. It's just my favorite. It's just my favorite because it helps you look at the vertical layers. Remember, yellow's the bottom, blue's the middle, red's the top. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, so this was the snow that came in for the Appalachians. It kind of fizzled, but I would say like almost no one got a good northwest flow snow event from this, but it was the right geometry. Speaking of geometry, you can see this new geometry forming up here. Wow. And this is where that rain for California is coming in from. A lot of that tropical transport, upper level tropical air transport. And then also this getting some equatorial moisture into the Gulf region, but still cold enough here that it can't hang on to the moisture. It's kind of precipitating out and fizzling out. And then real strong offshore winds from, Texas to Delaware. We're getting offshore wind. The air is like, I am leaving America. That's what I'm saying. Beautiful setup for in a couple of days, potentially getting a big snowstorm. But I'm not a forecaster. I'm just telling you what actually happened here. And this is what's actually happening currently at this time. Now we can go down to the geosphere. Let's see what's happening in the lithosphere. Let's see what's happening in the earthquake region. Well, it's not really the lithosphere. It's the, we're in the crust. I'm looking at the plates, not the lower realms. Let's go ahead and get these. Oh, is this in the right? All right. I think this is already on. No, it's not showing me the correct. Let me go to today. I don't know. Sometimes I look at this and it's like, oh yeah, that looks like only the ones from today and yesterday, but it doesn't reflect that in the control panel. So I'm going to go to 29th, then magnitude range, all, depth, all, and data source. Mixed, not just USGS, because they're not going to tell us everything. Sorry, USGS. No, nothing personal. I just don't think you're reporting everything. And that's fine. You don't have to. You're just the USGS. But I'm looking at the globe. Okay, so still looking at the after effect of that large 6.5 in Brazil today. We've seen pretty much nothing since. Let's see if latest available makes it different. I think it does for some reason. I don't know why latest. Okay. We've got 4.2, 4.1, a 4.5, and 2.5. We've got some echoing all the way down and echoing all the way up this coast, through and on through into Central America. Lots of 2, 3, 4s rippling out into, so the deep quake was down here. These are rippling out vertically, kind of going like that. Like if this is the surface and this is where the deep quake was, the quakes here are trickling out. Also increasing magnitude of earthquakes in the Leeward Islands, Virgin Islands region. At least they're moving off of the main island of Puerto Rico, but they're getting closer to the heart of like the peak of the curve. Remember, if I'm like, if this is the curve of the Leeward Islands area, I forget what that subduction zone is called, but if this is that subduction zone, I think that they attenuate at the peak points, and they're moving closer to those peak points. Then we have these, let's see, El Salvador, 2 in El Salvador, 4.5, Bay of Campeche in, believe it's still Mexico. We had a offshore, oh, this is cool, off coast of Oregon 4 at 10 kilometers depth. That's weird, but also at that boundary point between a divergent and a transform boundary, right where it's going from being pulled apart to slipping next to each other, or up and down. It depends. Oh, we've got some earthquakes rippling up into Kentucky now. So the United States, this is like a fringed jacket of a tectonic plate right here. This is just all fringy all here. And then it gets into a more solid form over here in the North American craton. But you see that we are transferring all the fringy area energy into the Northeast. We're going from Yellowstone and the Juan de Fuca, and we're going all the way from all of the West Coast, funneling into the Ohio River Valley region. So this is the New Madrid seismic zone, and this is right on the Ohio River. What magnitude was this? This was a 2.5 at 15 kilometers depth. That was technically yesterday, late yesterday. I guess I missed it in our update, but I don't know why it wasn't showing up yesterday. Maybe I didn't have all of my sources turned on, which would be weird. Why would that matter? Should be. It's in the US. It should be reported by USGS. Okay, so seeing a lot more rippling through. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw more Icelandic and Mid-Atlantic ridge movement soon. Let's take a look. And that was yesterday's Italian earthquake at yesterday's Italian earthquake. This is a new one. We've got a 4.4 at 10 kilometers depth again at about 8:30 UTC. So that is like about 4 hours after our big coronal mass ejection. Still feeling aftershocks of last week's 7.0 earthquake in the Kyrgyzstan Xinjiang border region. We've got a 5.7. That's almost like, guys, their aftershocks over there are like quakes that would set off their own aftershocks. I bet it has been just nonstop earthquake after earthquake if you're in that region. I haven't confirmed with my friend that I met in the earthquake chat room the other day who lives there what the scene has been like, but I will try to remember it to get an update for you. Let's see. That Taiwan earthquake was yesterday. Oh, in the middle of the Sea of Japan, we've got a 4.6 really deep down. Well, not really deep down. Almost to the deep quake region at 436 kilometers depth. I wonder if this is going to set off another round of Japan earthquakes in that Noto Peninsula area. Off the coast of Honshu. That's just the main island. And then this was this is today in Hokkaido. Okay, so this is like 2 days in a row that they've gotten 4.6 at around 60 kilometers down in Hokkaido. So I'm really, and those are, look at the triangle. Look at the triangulation again, y'all. Making those beautiful triangles. Here in the Philippines, they had a 5.1 at 10 kilometers depth today. That was right about the same time that this Iran-Kuwait border region Western Iran, I guess they're calling it. But, Mariana Islands, that was from yesterday. Eastern New Guinea got another magnitude 5 at 62 kilometers down. That's after they also had a 4.8 yesterday. And then in the Banda Sea, we've got 4.4. The 4.2 was yesterday and the 4.4 was today. Still looking at, was this yesterday's New Caledonia quake? Yeah, these are this New Caledonia and Tonga region deep quake were from yesterday. Do we have anything reaching down into New Zealand? Oh, yes, we do have one in the Southern Ocean. What's it say? West of Macquarie Island. Macquarie. That's weird. Let's zoom out and see anything else popping out at us. I mean, I didn't really get into, we've got a magnitude 4 up here in the Aleutian Islands too. So yeah, the things that's sticking out to me right now is the ripple effect off of here, continued aftershocks in Kyrgyzstan, new quakes in the Middle East, or a new unleashing of shallow energy in the Middle East. This United States momentum getting all the way through the country. Just really weird to see such small tremors all over the place, funneling themselves into this direction. Can you see that it looks like it's just going all the way up to Iceland? And this triangle of quakes around Japan, really interesting. Let's take a look now at our volcanic activity. See if anybody's updated I don't know why I go to the map, because the map doesn't change very often. I want to look at volcanoes today. Volcanoes today. Today's weather tonight. Love this. Okay. Well, that's tomorrow, but Popo, Navarre, De Luis, Semeru, Reventador, Sangay. I don't know how to say that still. New volcanic activity in Colombia. Not too much. Yesterday, or today's really, Echo. Let's see, Ibu. Interruption actively right here and here. Here, well, they're calling active eruption anything that has had some activity in the last 3 months. Oh, I can't pull up the webcams ever, but that's a beautiful view of Popo. Popocatépetl, Poas volcano, Ibu volcano, Epeco volcano. Suenoshima is still exploding daily. Yeah, Abeco has got an eruption, active eruption. East Java, that we still have those really deep or medium deep quakes in that area, and in the Ibu region of Indonesia as well. Now, let's take a look at what Iceland's got going on. I feel like it's important to keep our eyes on this as we move into the territory of a month from the next a month out from the last earthquake. I mean, this is quite a increase right after. I mean, so here's when that CME happened, and then increasing solar as Iceland rotates into sun-facing view, and then as it rotates out of view, it's really clear that they're going up right as they're hitting noon. That is very interesting to me. But then we don't get the same thing on Monday. Very interesting. But I guess that Sunday was the day technically that they got the most. Well, no, that would mean that this was when the CME was. So I'm on about nothing. Let's take a look at, but as you see, they're clustered around Grindavik still, but they're also very well along the line of that crustal deformation region. Most recent one was out in the Atlantic. They had another eruption. Gosh, if somebody is trying to send me psychic blocking signals right now, that would be, can you stop? That's annoying. Like, I can tell what you're doing. Please don't. Okay. It's just like, I don't want to sound paranoid. I can just like tell when someone's trying to get me off my groove, and it's like, could you not? But it is pretty clear that we're going to have a lot of earthquake activity coming up through the Rearcast Ridge into the peninsula. And possibly, guys, I have seen some geologists reporting that they are seriously considering the possibility that a magma reservoir that goes underneath just southeast of the town of Reykjavik is going to wake up in the way that the Grindavik magma chamber has woken up. So that would not be awesome, especially because that's their major population center. I just don't like how that feels. Volcanic gases. Let's see. I want to see. No, I want to go back and see news and alerts. What's the latest update? Our latest update is back from the 25th. Like, still looking at 8 millimeter per day inflation rates. And guys, right now the inflation rates are highest under the Svartsengi power plant area and the Blue Lagoon area. So that really, I mean, they still have that area in, okay. The inflation is happening under Mount Thorbjorn right here. So how do we not have zone 1 in at least an orange hazard? I don't know. You would think that you would put this in a higher, one would think that you would rate the threat to be higher if there's more valuable infrastructure in a zone. Like, maybe that's just my American ignorance coming through, because in America we do rate our hazard maps by how many people are going to be affected and how much infrastructure damage. Tornadoes are categorized based on structural damage and like money and like people damage. I don't understand why they're keeping this, other than an ignorant pursuit of tourism dollars. I don't understand why they wouldn't make this zone 1 a higher threat level if the inflation is happening equally in zone 1 and zone 3. Yeah, Grindavik is downhill of it, so I do agree with zone 4 being in the orange, but I still don't understand why they are letting people back into the Blue Lagoon. It seems like a bad idea to me, folks, but that's just me. And they're also letting people back into Grindavik right now, which that's great for people who, that's really awesome for those who need to go in there and move their stuff and, you know, situate all. People haven't been able to go back since before December. I mean, some came back for Christmas, but almost nobody else did. Like only a few hundred out of the thousands of people that live there. And guys, I just don't want I don't want to make tourist soup. I don't like tourism all that much, but I'm not in favor of boiling human beings alive for the sake of tourism. I know, call me crazy, but I don't think it's a good idea to have hot person soup outside where there might be a volcanic eruption right underneath it. Seems like that would make the hot person soup a little too hot. Just me? Maybe. I don't know. Comment down below if you don't want to see tourists turned into hors d'oeuvres. Sorry, I'm so thirsty, guys. I just licked my salt lamp a lot before I started this broadcast. Comment down below if you've ever licked your salt lamp. Mom, if you're watching, I'm totally joking. I don't lick my salt lamp. That would be weird. That would be so weird. That'd be like on the spectrum activity, and nobody in our family's on the spectrum. It's totally weather salience, a symptom of autism. Okay, y'all, it's been a fun one for me. I see that there's 3 of y'all here, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug I'm gonna plug that if y'all subscribe to me on coffee.com, you will join my coloring book. Somebody just jumped off there. My coloring book of the month club. Nobody's joined yet, so I haven't sent out the first one, but I'm already working on the second because I just know somebody's going to support me. So, yeah, I'm not just a amateur meteorologist and, semi-pro stand-up comedian. I am also a completely unpaid doodle artist. So if you want to doodle along with me, color in some pretty pictures. I only do abstracts. I never know what's going to happen on the page before I do it because I actually can't draw anything I intend to draw. It's more like emergent doodles, really. Just start drawing and see what happens. So, clear the air. Let's get ready to see what the cosmic weather is. Oh, I guess I want to go ahead and talk about today's current planets before I do that. We are in a moon day. We started this broadcast in a Mercury hour. And currently we're on a moon day and a moon hour. So our moon in Virgo is opposing Neptune in Pisces. Beautiful, dreamy, very dreamy moon. Don't make too many logical decisions right now, because the Neptune and the moon are working really well together to get all of your feelings nestled into a cozy blanket right now. Even though you think that you are thinking so good right now, I think that this tension between like having the moon and Saturn opposed yesterday was pretty strong for that thinking, but having the moon oppose Neptune right now just feels foggy, murky, confusing, wet, overcast thoughts to me. Still got a really beautiful trine going on between Mars and Uranus, and Mercury's booking it to get to Aquarius in time to meet up with the sun, or not meet up with the sun, but to be co-present in Aquarius with the sun. And I really want to see that. I would love to see some Mercury energy come into, let's talk about it. It is time to talk about what this Aquarius season has been doing for everybody. If you've got some thoughts that have been happening this Aquarius season, it will soon be time to talk about them. But right now it is time to still study a little bit more. That's what I see Mercury and Capricorn doing. Yeah, I want to... This is almost going to be another... No, it's not. I lied, y'all. The moon is about to meet its south node, which means it's going to descend into the southern hemisphere of its orbit. The nodes are where they pass their midpoint of up and down rotation. It's not necessarily aligned with the Earth's equator always. Or is it? I'm not going to say that. I don't know. I need to look up whether the nodes mean passing the Earth's equator or the ecliptic plane, because I think it's the ecliptic plane. This is when it's going, the moon is going from north of the ecliptic plane to south of the ecliptic plane. So we're still barely north, but we were north when we were in Aries, and we are now descending down, about to hit the node, and then we'll barrel back up. Once the moon reaches Capricorn, that will be in the peak dip. That'll be in the most south that it goes. It's funny that I don't have a point on here for the most south in declination and the most north in declination, but I feel like I might do some research on figuring out how I can get that to show on my daily transits map. But looking pretty juicy, looking pretty fertile, looking pretty smart, honestly. Just don't think that you're too smart. Remember to keep that shit to yourself sometimes. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is shut up. And I'm going to try to do that soon by drawing a card to speak for the cosmos. And that's because we can only observe the planets physically. I don't know how else to get messages from farther than the planets than chaos itself. And that's how I view cards. Cards are here to be the chaos that allows us to align with the divine primordial soup. The cosmological primordial soup of stars. All right. I'm gonna shuffle these babies up. And without looking, going to pull something for a message from the universe further than we can see with our material science observations. All right. It's kind of on point with what I was saying. Okay. I envision more and act less. As you take the time to find images in your mind that are pleasing, you will more often achieve vibrational alignment with all things that you desire. From that alignment, you will experience more inspired ideas and assistance from others. Inspired action is very satisfying and extremely productive. That's beautiful. I think I've gotten this one before, but I love that it feels like this person is floating in a sea of clouds that are also flower clouds, kind of, or like nebula, the birth of a star cloud. Let's read that again. As you take the time to find images in your mind that are pleasing, you will more often achieve vibrational alignment with all things that you desire. From that alignment, you will experience more inspired ideas and assistance from others. Inspired action is very satisfying and extremely productive. Great. Good job. I love that. Oh, y'all are still here. So I'm going to pull a little bit of a clarifier. I really feel like this is part of it too. This was top of the deck from this one. It's gorgeous. It says, my joy doesn't depend upon the approval of others. No effective guidance will ever be achieved by seeking the approval of others, for they all desire different things of you. Constant, pure guidance from Source comes forth from within you. It is always there. I was just thinking about something like this as I walked downstairs tonight to do this. I was thinking, like, if I was really a people pleaser, I would let anybody who wanted to do anything they wanted to with my body. And I don't want that. I don't want to be a people pleaser because that's the ultimate end of that way of being. People pleasing ultimately says, yeah, you have more authority to do with my body than I do, which I don't like. People pleasing is kind of in a certain culture in a way. So I'm going to try to move away from that. But, people brought up as women really get hammered home that you should be a people pleaser, and not by people who intend to hurt them, but by the whole world, really. A lot of messaging goes into that people-pleasing mentality. I'm looking at this raw labradorite. I wonder if I can get the flash to show. Almost. Kind of getting it. Not really. But I was holding it when I said all that last stuff. All right. Very close to the end here, y'all. Thank you so much for sticking around and for joining us. Remember, if you're watching me on Facebook, I can't see your comments or likes in live action because it slowed down the stream too much. Because I am streaming on 3 different platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Go over to YouTube at Cloud Hudson if you want to comment, follow, or find recommendations for meteorologists, geologists, and other geophysicists that I think are really spot on. Because again, I'm not a forecaster. I'm just telling you what I think already happened. And if you're a time traveler using this as a way to date your journal entries, figuring out which timeline you're on, hi, here's your time weather. You're on the timeline where this happened. You're on the timeline where these earthquakes, these volcanoes, this weather happened. You're on the timelines where these are the cards I picked for this video. All right. I want to get a theme, one major theme for each of these, and then one for the union of not depending upon the approval of others with envisioning more and acting less. All right. For I envision more and act less, we got the Hanged Man in reverse. So I don't know if any of you guys are archetypal people, but that's pretty funny. That's pretty awesome to me to see the Hanged Man in reverse with the one that says I envision more and act less. That's like kind of, this card already has Hanged Man energy. It's very cool. And Hanged Man in reverse, I always feel like the Hanged Man is reversal energy, and to have it reversed is like, oh no, you envisioning instead of acting actually is the action. Your envisioning is action. Just do it. That's really cool. Thank you, Hanged Man. I love that. He always looks jolly to me. His hair looks like it's on fire. Also reminds me of Agent Dale Cooper. I mean, I hate anybody. I don't hate anybody. I strongly disagree with Agent Dale Cooper's choice to work for the Bureau, or any government entity for that matter. But I always think of Agent Dale Cooper on Twin Peaks hanging upside down in his moon boots, his anti-gravity boots, as the Hanged Man. Him just being like Western guy who thinks he's Buddha consciousness man. That's so funny to me. That we got the Hanged Man in reverse for I envision more and act less. Now, what are we doing for my joy doesn't depend upon the approval of others? Oh, I got 2. Okay, I don't know why I got 2 for that. All right, we've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed and the Chariot reversed. So my joy doesn't depend upon the approval of others. I'm really looking at this Queen of Pentacles as inward sources of abundance, as above, so below. If you want the world outside to reflect the abundance that you're trying to call in, the joy you're trying to call in, because she's a very abundant queen, the Queen of Pentacles, you need to take the inward action. The Chariot, the forward moving motion, that inner Sagittarius, be your own guru of abundance. Now for the union of the two. Oh, great. For the union of my joy does not depend upon the approval of others, marked by the Chariot in reverse and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And I envision more and act less with the Hangman reverse. We got death upright. Death does not necessarily mean death. It means rebirth. Virgo, Scorpio, you have to let things end in order to, what is that saying? You have to exit the stage in order to make your next entrance. Death is the one thing that unites us all. Really interesting to see that. I'm going to have to sit with these energies a little longer. I think, I don't know what they mean, but I'm getting the feeling that I am not describing all that they're trying to tell me right now. There's more here than I understand at the moment. But that's kind of the way that linear time goes. You can just know that something else is brewing. I don't know. Something's got to end in order to have my joy not depend upon the approval of others. My material is all right here. I just got to take the inward action of the envisioning or something like that. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, that's the hooves of the horse on the death card, marching toward you. Okay, we're not going to die. We're not going to die. We're going to focus on what needs to die in order to let our joy not depend on the happiness of others. What internally needs to die so that it can feed the blossoms of new life. Really, winter time. What needed to die in this winter time in the soil? What needed to go back into the ground in order to have fecundity in spring? What needed to die to fertilize the new potential of growth this spring? I have a feeling we're going to figure that out in the next month or so. This is always a really intense time of the year for me, and I feel a lot trying to come through. I try to keep my protection up so the wrong things don't come through. Maybe we can kill those wrong things. All right. I love you guys. It's been a really long episode. Thanks for sticking in here with me for the last 20 minutes or so. This has been quite a rant, but I guess we had so much solar energy today. I just had to go off and talk about all the things. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that CME, man. Let me know if you are too. Okay. Gosh, I wish I had taken that off the stream before I showed you all the cards, but here are my shiny cards. Have all right, maybe these go together. Yeah. Oh, you can see my lava lamp is finally activated in the background there. Look at that. Lava lamp, salt lamp, UV, fake candle. Me, Cloud Hudson. You, beautiful listener. I love you so much. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much. Please love yourselves as much as I love you. Nay, more than that. Comment down below if you know if that's possible. All right. I love you all. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe. Good night. Bye.